Uh, so hi guys, it's already 5:50. I'm gonna be very fast about this class today because number one, I want to finish within 15 minutes. I don't want to take all your time in the world. Uh, and of course, I'm also gonna go somewhere. Sige. So let's go present for today's Free Friday class. This is gonna be very easy in my view. So quick snapshot lang tayo. Okay. Yeah. Hello, guys. We're going to be discussing Hormel. This is a giant consumer staple trading in my belief at a discount, entering buy zones. The categories consumer staples, food and beverages, retail. My name is Nikki Yu. You're watching the Awesome10X investing channel. I'm also a chartered market technician, and it's June 2, 2023. Thank you for watching the show. You can also follow me on Faces Trader. That's my Twitter handle at Faces Trader, where I discuss Philippine stocks sometimes, and I also trade a lot in the US. Sometimes I also talk about Hong Kong. And let's begin. So, Hormel Foods Corporation actually reported numbers last night, June 1, 2023. We can see that actually last night it was trading near support at about $39, $38. And we were actually investigating already on Hormel Foods as early as last few months. So about March, I was already studying this company, and so the results were something that I was expecting to be good, and I was actually happy. You're seeing actually that this company, of course, some highlights. It is a very, very strong dividend company. It's a dividend aristocrat, meaning it's part of the S&P 500 member that has consecutively increased their dividends and paid out over the last 25 years or more. This one is even in the 90 plus years already. I also believe that the company is recession proof. It is home to 40 industry leading brands with number one and number two positions. Therefore, the business is actually very stable. So on June 1, 2023, the market actually saw the company trade at about 5% higher by reaffirming full year net sales and earnings guidance, announcing some progress on their key initiatives. So just a snapshot, they did earn about $3 billion this quarter. Operating income is about $300 million. That's in line. Earnings before income taxes, diluted net earnings per share of about 40 cents. Company is trading less than 20 times PE ratio in my view. So I'll also be discussing that. Let me read to you some highlights from the executive commentary on the first on this quarter's results. Okay, so you've got clear priorities. They were able to deliver results in line. They are on track to drive growth. I'm actually happy to see the stabilization on the planters. They acquired this company, the snack nuts business, a few years ago, and then of course they are getting a lot of improvement now, approaching pre-pandemic levels. They're actually still seeing some slower than expected recovery in China, still less exports for Turkey available, but their leading brands are actually very, very strong. So that means that their Hormel Bacon, their Spam, their leading brands are still doing very well. Excellent growth as well for Skippy and Planters brands during the quarter. So that's good because last few quarters that was still a drag. Then, of course, I noticed that they are now reducing their exposure to commodity businesses and part of their evolution as a global branded food company. I think the market was very happy seeing the outlook, of course. For Hormel Foods, they're expecting sales and earnings growth in the back half of the year. So we're seeing actually a potential growth of about 1 to 3%. Not so bad because we're talking about a company that's hitting about 11 to $12 billion a year. We're also seeing the food service segment to be a primary driver of growth, an inflection in the international segment, higher turkey volumes such as bacon, pepperoni, snack nuts, and Spam family of products. So still they're leaders doing very well. Full year diluted net earnings per share is now expected to be about $1.80. So that's why at about 36 to 40, you're getting about 20 times multiple here. Let's take a look at some good innovative products on Planters. They're now unveiling a new cashew snacks. So these are their dill pickle flavor, cinnamon and brown sugar, rosemary and sea salt. So it's very good for biscottis, for your just simple snacks. These are some examples, some coffee cakes. So a Hormel, for those who aren't aware, is of course a global branded food company, over 11 to $12 billion in annual revenue over across 80 countries worldwide. Famous brands, of course, you've got Planters, Skippy, Spam, Hormel. These are names that everyone knows. Natural Choice, Applegate, Justin's. Holy, Hormel Black Label, Columbus, more than 30 other beloved brands. Of course, one of their biggest badge of honor is because they are a dividend aristocrat. So actually, it's been more than 390 quarters. So this is one of those centennial brands that you can assure yourself that if you have this for the next 5 to 10 years or whatsoever, if this is a company that you just buy and keep, this is a company that really does that. And of course, we wanted to share that the Spam Museum, this was actually had more than 60 countries visitors from over 60 countries. So it's a iconic brand, of course, Spam Legacy. They welcome thousands of visitors in their historic museum in 2022. One particular destination in mind in southern Minnesota is to go to Spam Museum. This is very good, I believe, for brand recognition. They average more than 100,000 visitors annually, which shows the power of their brand, specifically Spam. All of these fans made a pilgrimage to Austin, Minnesota, just to pay homage to the world famous brand they love from over 60 countries. Visitors from Canada, Togo, the Philippines, England, Brazil, South Africa, Belgium, France, Thailand, Germany, Belize, India, and Japan. I, for one, if I can go sometime in the Museum of Spam, I'll be very happy to do so. I actually enjoy going to Japan's Nissan Museum. So it's just really a fan favorite for most people to really pay homage to the iconic brands, no? So it's an honor to welcome visitors all over the world. Let's talk about dividend aristocrats. Just this May 22, of course, Hormel issued their quarterly dividend of about 27 cents. So walang palya yan every year. Okay, so companies, this is their 380th consecutive quarterly dividend paid by the company. No interruptions, August 15 payment. Yeah, so this one is already for all the shareholders out there for Hormel. Let's give you some quick background. Okay, so don't worry, this we will just discuss a lot of just fast moves. Hormel, really, the strategy here is for people who want to focus on building a portfolio of strong dividend names. You want to actually use historical yield ranges as a way to buy when stocks are cheap. So as we said, these are leaders in the marketplace. Just a quick roundup for those who don't know what Hormel brands are. Yes, more than 40 categories. You've got your famous bacon. So for the Filipinos out there who, you don't know much about the US companies, we do want to actually highlight some companies that are very easy to understand and digest. It's a very recession-proof company. Do not expect 10x returns on these. However, we do believe that yeah, you can actually it's a proven business model, and so at 20 times multiple or even less, you can very much assure yourself that your money's not going to be gone anytime soon, and it's actually a good parking place where you get about 3% dividend yield and potentially at least 20% returns over time. 10% CAGR is good enough. So it's actually something that can still be a good passive income for those who are really looking for a place to park their money without the risk of, hey, am I going to get a 20-30% sell off further? And even if there will be sell offs, we understand actually the downside is quite limited. So of course, Spam, in case you're just wondering what are the ingredients of Spam, it's pork with ham, salt, water, starch, sugar, sodium nitrite. All of us love Spam all over the world. Of course, in the Philippines, we typically eat Spam with Spam desal, pandesal. But of course, Spam is like everywhere. You have many flavors. Spam hot and spicy, Spam tocino, Spam bacon, Spam roasted turkey, hickory smoke. Some people all over the world, because Spam is an 80-country worldwide distribution, they love to eat Spam with their tacos, pizza casseroles, pizza rolls. Others do katsu sando, pancake sandwich, Spam silog burrito, kimchi rice, classic ramen with Spam, skillet mac and cheese, breakfast hash, carbonara, paella. Basically, it is a very staple food, pork, which is a cheaper alternative, of course, which we see as a very very functional company during recessions, which we argue in the U.S. is actually in the midst of a recession, as evidenced by numbers from Target, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Home Depot, Lowe's, the business apparel like American Eagle Outfitters. You can see the difficulty in selling. They need to do a lot of heavy discounting. Same for Foot Locker. So it's very clear that we live in a state where Americans in general, or the world in general, is still feeling the pain of their consumer spending, discretionary spending going down, and so they have to actually think of ingenious ways to basically feed their families and prioritize eating without really breaking the buck. No, so we think that spam is a beneficiary of that. Fiscal 2022 was actually a good result for them, and the 2023 did very well. So protecting the core brands did very well, still leading categories. So I don't see any problem with that. The combination of powerhouse brands, I do believe in these. They've purchased, of course, Planters, Skippy. They've got quite a good mix, actually. Columbus Craft Meats. All of these are very good for people who are staying home with their family and friends. They're watching NFL. They're watching games. Mexican Cinco de Mayo, perfect for the Herdes and Huli Guacamole. So really, the business is doing well in terms of the brands. So they've got actually a good. These were like their famous brands, of course, Mexican flavors. So whenever you're doing a Mexican tacos dinner night or Taco Tuesdays, whatever you want to call it, whether you're doing it at home, of course, they're doing it also for a lot of chefs and restaurants in there. They have both segments. It's okay. Then, of course, they have the business of Applegate, producing meat from animals, no antibiotics, no hormones. This one is also doing well. Pizza, Happy Little Plants. Yeah, so these are plant-based pizza toppings. Pizzerias actually love their portfolio. Of course, they have pepperoni, not just yeah. So you've got they've been solving for operator challenges. You've got the Jenny O sliced turkey actually growing back after those problems during the avian flu, couple of years, just a year ago. Yeah, and then of course we've got all the meats. We're getting it back. 20% of U.S. food service channel sales growth in 2022. They are, of course, expanding everywhere. Spam is well loved, including China. So they have delivered outsized growth from opening a new R&D in China last 2022, an expansion in Jiaxing, China, to meet the demand for a product. So we can see that the Asians obviously love Hormel products like spam and rice, spam musubis. You put it in some Japanese like nori wrappers, and then of course like spam beef jerky. So really good. Hormel Foods is actually worldwide, more than 80 countries in the world. Some things to take note of. Yeah, so they have been continuing their evolution with their go forward strategies, empowering their 20,000 global team members to be focused on the Hormel Foods brand. So they are actually in three categories, right? So you've got retail, you've got food service, you've got international. So some data for those who are nitty gritty. These are for full year, and actually for this few quarters that they've reported, as I noted in a few slides a while ago, you can see that actually they are in line and they're actually affirming all the growth. That's why the market is happy, because whereas you're paying something like 30 times multiple on typical consumer staples, this one is actually trading at 30% discount. That's the reason why I think that you're actually in an interesting phenomenon today to buy a world-class brand at not an expensive price. So I think the downside is very minimal, even if, let's say, the markets will undergo a recession, because the food they serve is actually recession resistant, recession proof. In fact, this one is the one that people go to during recessions. So it should be a beneficiary. Okay, so earnings per share, actually, they affirmed $1.82. So I'm seeing actually mostly flat. You can see that they can have sales of about 10%. That's really what was reflected this quarter. So they were in line with that. So think about it as a company that's hitting about $12 billion revenues also for 2023. And earnings per share would be the same. You can see that net sales as a whole over the last 10 years Okay, so from about $8 billion, they've been able to grow to 12 billion. For 2023, you can assume about 12 billion as well. Earnings per share for this 2023, you can also assume about $1.80, which is a flat area. Operating income will be roughly the same. Then annual dividends, they are able to pay 27.5 cents times 4. That would give you about $1.10. So still, you're seeing actually this company continuing to grow those dividends, given that they have very little to increase their sales. No, so they typically just pay a lot to their returns to their shareholders. So about $20 billion market cap. Again, if you look at about $39, if you're getting about $1 per share per year, $1 over 40 or $1 over 39, we're looking about 2.5 to 3%, depending on what price you get to enter this company. So Hormel Foods still remains a buy in our in our like shopping list. Just showing to you all the brands. Very good dividend payer, very consistent. Of course, in the Philippines, for those Filipinos out there, San Miguel Pure Foods Hormel, if in case you're wondering who's the partner internationally for Hormel Foods in the Philippines, that would be San Miguel. If you're eating the Pure Foods, tender juicy hot dogs, the bacons, etc., yes, those are actually partnerships with Hormel Foods. So, of course, in the Philippines, located in Manila, this was actually a Pure Foods Hormel. This was a JV with Pure Foods, then owned by Ayala Group. Of course, we knew that this was instead bought by San Miguel Corporation. That's FNB for those who are looking at the ticker symbol FB. So actually, you can do spam sisig if you want to think about ingenious ways to whip up your spams. Now, yeah, so of course, the Filipinos know about tender juicy hot dogs. That's the most popular brand of food in the Philippines, hot dogs. And of course, some brands like Pure Foods. So you can see actually in the annual report of FB, which is San Miguel Food and Beverage, Pure Foods, basically. Yeah, and you can see that the company markets their product through Hormel Foods International Corporation. This is a wholly owned subsidiary with global presence with several markets, including Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, England, Japan, Mexico, Micronesia, Philippines, Singapore, South Korea. So we are a distributor. So domestically, company sells their products in all 50 states. HFIC has a minor position in a food company in the Philippines. The Pure Foods Hormel company is a 40% holding. Okay, so more ideas. Of course, you can buy not just those spam. You have pork, right? So all these pepperonis, all of these are actually so those who are very good cooks, especially at home, who are saving money, of course, they can watch a lot of YouTube videos, TikTok videos, Instagram reel videos, whatever, and whip up some great dinners or lunch at home for saving money. So demonstrated ability of management, as I said, if you take a look on the company over the last 18 years, the company has done 5x, 10% CAGR. So for those who are really just thinking, hey, I'm not here to make bazooka money. I don't understand this AI. I don't understand this technology. What's going to happen with, I understand it's not that easy. Like we don't understand too much about what's going to happen with data centers, with AL, ML, all these artificial intelligence and machine learning. It's not something that an average person can really understand. And so we're really just trying to, invest in companies that we know of. And so the companies that you may actually wanted to understand and put in your portfolio is something that you eat constantly, the one that you go to the supermarkets for. You buy bacon, you buy eggs, you buy your spam, you buy all these normal food, hopefully, and you can understand that you can invest in them, even if they're in the US. So Spam Maker, of course, bought Planters, which also owns corn nuts and cheese balls. Yeah, so strategic priorities, I believe that these are all doing well. They've got to amplify the scale in snacking or entertaining. In case you're wondering who am I competing with, in terms of snacking, of course, you're competing with Frito-Lay's, which is owned by Pepsi. Pepsi is trading at about 30 times multiple. That's why I'm saying that this one is really a cheap alternative. If you're not looking at buying Coca-Cola or Pepsi, is this a company that you think Warren Buffett may be interested to buy if it goes down? In my view, yes, because this is a very consistent business. This is what I would call a company with huge moat. You will not be able to buy this at 10 times multiple, in my view, no matter if we have a recession, because the earnings will be flat at the most. It's not like going to decline by 20-30% for you to assume that it's going to fall further. Of course, strong sales for spam. You've got really some great brands here. That spam has been feeding families for more than 85 years. It used to be actually a depression meat in 1937 because it was affordable and convenient. The fact that it was actually a product that was in a depression tells me that this is a very recession resistant company. This was actually also evident during the global financial crisis of '08. The jump in spam sales was actually 10% higher during that year. So I'm actually seeing that the more consumers actually have a hard time, which has been evident in Dollar Tree, Dollar General, I think that there will be an increase in sales in spam furthermore. So this is actually something that I am um, looking at. And of course, I do believe that the drop before in 2022 was caused by the bird flu. And it's not likely to happen again this year. So there will be actually that growth due to the fact that this avian flu is not a forever thing, but just a one-time thing. The highly contagious avian flu took the lives of 40 million birds that happened last year, which actually involved the drop of Hormel food sales. That, of course, happened to your turkey supply. Those news, of course, that flu outbreak. That's why it fell from about 52. I don't think that you could get, of course, 39 below, but in case you do have that entry point, 39 all the way to about 32 is really an opportunity to buy for those who are. That's of course the reason why Tyson Foods also got affected. So in general, there are some interesting companies. Of course, you want to compare not just Hormel Foods, but also for Kraft Heinz. Let's just give you a quick snapshot here. So, okay, so Pinterest.com, Hormel Foods here is trading at about 20 times multiple. KHC, which is Kraft Heinz, Mondelez. Okay, so you've got consumer defensives. I haven't studied Kraft Heinz, so give me some time. Looks also to be pretty cheap, no? So, but there may be some. I really haven't studied the Kraft Heinz yet. So in any case, comparing, of course, the snack foods consumer of, I'm comparing this with Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Kellogg's. This one is actually in the cheap side. So Hormel is something that I would put in my buy list, shopping list for the moment. There are really good brands here, so I would put it in that buy. Okay, so hope that you had a good day. Then let's process more ideas. I do have some ideas to also discuss in the Philippines, but I would do that maybe next week, guys. So thank you very much for watching. This will be a quick wrap up for tonight, and see you again next week. Please wait for our Philippine updates, wherein we discuss whether Maharlika Investment Fund should actually invest in Philippine equities or not. And in my view, the answer is whether it's Maharlika Investment Fund, Angat Buhay Fund, or whatever fund there may be. And even if it's just your retail fund, I think that there are actually interesting buying opportunities in the Philippines. And we're actually quite at a very good valuation, no matter if we don't know when the markets will go up. There are some good values out there, cash flows and dividends to wait for. Thank you very much. And that ends my broadcast. Thank you very much. Bye bye.